Hello, if you clicked on this video, you've come looking for a guide to SCP Secret Lab, and that's what you're gonna get. I'll be your host tonight, and this is, of course, version 1 of many. I'm gonna be uploading this. This is updating this as the time comes. This is a slideshow that I make that will be linked down in the description if you want to go through the slideshow yourself or whatever. So yeah, let's get right into it. Start off with the basics, but of course we have to start with a very important disclaimer. All information presented in this slideshow is property of the SCP Foundation, and the release of any of it will result in immediate termination. Standard stuff for the Foundation. General information about the game. At Site 2, a mass containment breach of 6 main SCPs is happening, and it's fallen into chaos, and it was inspired greatly by SCP Containment Breach. I mean, in its early days, it greatly mimicked it, and until it branched out into its own thing, which is cool. It's a free-to-play multiplayer horror game. I put horror in quotes because on the store page it says horror. In reality, the game is not scary at all. Doesn't stop you or me from liking it. It's just not scary in my opinion. And it's free on Steam. So, in the game, you'll take up a specific role at random. And you have to complete set goals of the role. And most importantly, I just really like this quote. It's involved with the Foundation, so I put it here. We die in the dark so others may live in the light. Now with that out of the way, let's get right into it. The controls, one of the most important parts. If you've played a first-person shooter, you're pretty much set. Of course, you move around with your WASD and look around with your mouse. Most items and abilities require a click. Press tab to open up your inventory. You can drag stuff out to drop it. You can press E to open doors and interact with stuff, pick up items, shift to sprint, C to crouch, get on. I'll talk about crouching later because that's important for SCP-939. Control to pull out your card. These bottom ones are really just hotkeys for stuff. So control, pull out your best card. X to pull out medical items. G, grenades. T, and then T is to throw items that you're holding. And starting off with actual, not that wasn't actual information, but this is actual information. So soak it all up. This goes from light to left, by the way. Usually light to heavy, as you can see. So this is a map of the Foundation, and it's randomized each time, so you're not gonna have it in this specific layout. You shouldn't memorize this layout because it's just not going to be accurate to the game. But the rooms, the specific rooms that are in here, will spawn every time. You're always going to have an 049 spawn and an 069 spawn, and these are the SCPs right here. When it says 939 spawn, 049 spawn, those are the SCPs spawn areas, and we'll get to that in a second. But basically, I was really struggling where to put this. I decided to start with the map because I feel like if you can get a visual of what's going on, then it will make understanding the roles easier. Maybe I'm wrong in that, and if I am, you can go onto the slideshow yourself, go through it how you want. But I think that's the best way, at least in my opinion, after thinking about it. I'll talk about cards later, because as you can see, need containment card 1. I'll talk about that later, and what that exactly means and what the different cards are. But just soak it all in as you play the game. That goes for everything. That goes for the controls. That goes for all this. You'll start to just know. You'll understand. You'll find strategies, and we'll get to strategies in a second, or not second. We'll get to strategies later, but you'll find stuff you'll find stuff that will help you survive each time. So yeah, these elevators, elevator A links up to elevator A, elevator B links up to elevator B, and then checkpoint. There is an issue with this, like specifically this heavy containment part, because 93. This is an old map. 939 spawns in a different room. You need a different card, not a different card. There are 2 checkpoints on the left over here. There are 2 checkpoints. Only difference though. And then something important is that light will close after 12 minutes. So we'll talk about what that means later, because essentially you don't want to be in here when it locks down, because you will die. Here I'll go through like all the, if you want to pause or go onto the actual slideshow, look through all this yourself. Essentially, this is just breaking down every important room. Like I said, we'll talk about cards later, but it is good to have a card, especially in light, because having a card could be the difference of getting out and being stuck, where all the SCPs know you're gonna be. So, let's see. From using the elevators, you can go from light to heavy and vice versa. And part checkpoint card. This is where SCP-173 will spawn. Also locker, medical cabinet, D-boys. This is where all the D-boys spawn. I know it's D class, but I refer to them as D-boys in the entire slideshow. So, oopsies. Anyways. Office, guaranteed scientist card. I'm not going to go through all this. If you want to, you can. But know that these rooms exist and that there is good, there's the possibility for stuff to be in them. Like, if you see wash closet, I would go towards that, see if there's a Comp 15 or a scientist card, or say GUR 18. You know, just check there, see if there's a locker with or Comp 15 or something. Except for, I'll talk about SCP 330. This is the candy bowl, and I go in depth on what the candies are. But this is a good room. If you can open it up, it requires Containment 2 card, so Scientist card can get you into here. And you can get, there's a guaranteed zone manager and combat armor, which is really good. Like, this is good, and plus you can get candy, and we'll get into that later. Heavy containment zone. Alright, so this first slide is going through all the spawn locations of the SCPs. Starting off with SCP-049, which spawns... All of these are going to say that they spawn or start where their room is, because they all do. There's an elevator to get down into it, and then once you're in it, there's a zone manager card and an armory, which you can find guns down there, and armor and ammo and stuff like that. If you have an armory card, we'll get to that. And 079, it's where 079 starts. If you don't know, I'll just say it. 079 is a computer and works through the cameras. So it sort of starts here, and then you can move wherever in the facility. When all 3 generators are activated, this opens up, this big door right here, and then once you're in there, there's a lot of loot. Like, you got high tier armor, really good guns, a lot of ammo, a bunch of grenades. You got a bunch of stuff in there. So if you can get the 3 generators turned on, then you're set. And the generators are the only way to kill SCP-079 and to open it up. There are 3 that spawn randomly around heavy, and they require an Armory 2 card. We'll get to that. 096. This room, if you can get here with the Scientist card or any card that has containment level 2, you can get an MTF Sergeant card. And when we talk about strategies, you'll find that this bad boy is talked about multiple times because it is very powerful in the early game. Because you can use it to escape as a human class. We'll get to that. I keep saying that because there's a lot to talk about, and this is a very comprehensive guide, but we will get to everything, I swear. So, 106. There really isn't anything special about this room other than a medical cabinet spawns there sometimes, and I guess a generator can also spawn there sometimes. That's about it. And then 939's room. This is 939's new room. Not its old room. Its old room is still in the game, but this is its new room. And it can have a locker, a medical cabinet, and the scale on the table actually works. That's practically the only thing interesting about it. And then part 2, just talking about some other important stuff. Elevators, get from light to heavy. Servers is where a guaranteed scientist card spawns, which can be used in conjunction with SCP-096's room to get that card, which is good, and we'll talk about strategies later about that. The Tesla gates, essentially they'll zap you if you're in it. When it zaps, you die instantly, or if you're an SCP, you take a bunch of damage. So when approaching it, you want to make it zap, and then once it's done zapping, run by. And you'll get used to them, of course, but be wary that SCP-079 can control them and can zap them, getting you killed. Nuke. I go more in depth about Nuke in the next slide, but essentially this is Nuke room. Nuke can be turned on and off, and there's also a zone manager and a armory down there. There is an elevator. It's an elevator in heavy, and it says nuclear warhead above it, whereas the elevator where SCP-049 spawns doesn't have like a sign above it. It's just an elevator that goes down, whereas Nuke will say nuclear warhead, or it's active warhead, or something like that, something along those lines. Micro HID. This is a very, very powerful weapon. If you can get your hands on it, it requires an armory level 3 card, and I'll go more in depth about the micro HID because it's a weapon. It's a very, very powerful weapon. And then heavy armory. This has a bunch of ammo, a bunch of 9x19 millimeter ammo, which is the main ammo that the MTF use and facility guards, but I'm getting ahead of myself right now. Just know it has a lot of ammo. It doesn't have guns, really. It has, I'm pretty sure, one COM-15, which is one of the weakest guns in the game. So, not doing well in the gun department, but it is doing well in the ammo department, so it only requires an armory level 1. Alright. So this is finishing off the map. Those were the first two sections, light and heavy, as you can see right here. So it goes light, heavy, entrance, surface, and vice versa. You can go anywhere. Like, you can go, say, to heavy, to entrance, to heavy, to light. Like, it's just, they go like this, sort of. And these are also examples, except for surface. Surface will always be the same, no matter what. It's not randomized. As you probably saw, all D-boys, scientists, and facility... Not as you probably saw. Sorry. All D-boys, scientists, and facility guards, and SCPs immediately spawn at the start of the game. And then, around 5-minute intervals, Chaos or MTF spawn, and they will continue to spawn in set intervals until the game is over. We'll get to the Chaos and the MTF later. Yeah, nuke. Nuke must be turned on in heavy to be activated on surface. If it's not turned on in heavy, then it can't be activated on surface. There's just it'll tell you that it's turned off, and that's you need to turn it on. If you try turning it on surface, when it's off on in heavy. And then to turn it off, you have to go down to heavy to turn it off. And then when nuke goes off, light, heavy, and entrance, boom, everything dies in them, and you can't go back inside. Everything will die, and it's just anything left on surface. So, entrance zone. Start for the entrance zone. Heavy checkpoints that require a checkpoint card. There's 2 of them. As you can tell, I talked about before, map is old. There were 2 heavy checkpoints. And they just require a checkpoint card. And on the sides, they have lockers with guns and armor in them and ammo. They require an armory card, but they are there. Intercom. Announce a message to the entire server. Oh. But it requires an intercom card. Office. This is a pretty common thing you'll see. Where it's usually like a weapon station and a locker. And then Gate B. It is important to know the distinction between Gate B and Gate A, because Gate A is where the chaos usually come from. If you look on the right, this is where the chaos spawn. They go up there, and up there is an elevator that leads to Gate A inside the facility. Gate B, on the other hand, is where the MTF usually come from. Over here, they spawn over here, and then there's a little path down this way. You follow it, and then there's an elevator. And that can be the difference between life or death. Knowing which gate to go to. And of course, exit. Exit is right past here on the MTF area, past the MTF spawn to the left. And it's where D-boys and scientists are able to escape. Talk about that. And then over here where the chaos spawn, this is just where nuke is easily accessible. Roles. So these are the different roles that are playable. Of course, D-boys start on light. They have nothing, and they need to rely on other people and just anything they can find in their surroundings. And if they're able to make it out of everything, exit the facility, they will become a chaos conscript. But if they are detained by a facility guard, a scientist, or an MTF, they will become a MTF private. And we'll talk about that means in a couple more slides. Scientists, more well off, but the D-boy to scientist ratio is like 2 to 1, so every D-boy there's a scientist, sort of. They spawn with the scientist card and a med kit, which is helpful, especially to start with that scientist card, because you can open up candy room, get the zone manager in there, and just leave, go to heavy, because zone managers can open up checkpoints. We'll talk about that. Now, if a scientist is able to escape, they will become a specialist, aka a surgeon. Oh, I didn't talk about this, aka. So essentially, there are different. Actually, no. I'll talk about it later. Forget about that. If a scientist is detained by a member of the Chaos and escapes, they'll become a Chaos conscript. I'll talk about those later. And I have slides talking about it. I don't know why I was trying to get ahead of myself. Facility guards start an entrance, and their main goal is to go to heavy. I didn't say this, but D-boys and scientists, they start in light. Their main goal is to get to surface and leave. Facility guards, they start an entrance. Their main goal is to get to light to save any scientists and get them out of the facility. And they also want to kill the SCPs. But really, if you're a facility guard, you're not killing the SCPs on your own. You're waiting for an MTF spawn. Talk about it. They can choose to kill D-boys or detain them. I'll talk about that more in strategies, but you can detain D-boys with E by holding out your gun and holding E on them. D-boys, hard times. If you get spawned as a D-boy, good luck. But you can also, if you know what you're doing, you can get out. So essentially, while you're running around light, you want to be finding stuff. You want to find like a zone manager card or like any card if you can, and you want to make your way to entrance and hope that chaos spawns. Because if MTF spawn, good luck. Because MTF will most likely know. Because anyone who becomes an MTF or chaos, they are in spectator. They can spectate you, and they probably know where you are and where to kill you. So be cautious if MTF spawns. Now, but that's 5 minutes in. Got a little ahead of myself. If you run into any armed facility guards or scientists, probably best to do what they do, or do what they're telling you to do. Because running away will probably result in your death. Now, a strategy that I like to impose is on the sides of the elevators, you can hide, and most people don't check on the sides. So essentially you hide there and then run through when someone else opens them. And even though you might get into heavy with no card, that's fine, because there are multiple locations where you can find a zone manager, like as we talked about, Nuke Room or 049's room. Two places where zone managers are guaranteed to spawn. Or if you have a scientist card, you can open up 049's chamber and take the surgeon card inside. And with that card, you can open up the exit gates and escape. Gate A, Gate B, you can open them up and leave. Of course, if chaos spawns, try to find them so you can escape. Scientists. It's way easier, but you can still die pretty easily. I didn't talk about this, but literally everything in the game except for the Chaos Insurgency can kill D-boys, whereas facility guards and MTF can't kill the scientists. So essentially, they also want to find stuff in light, like a zone manager to open up the gates or open up the checkpoint and leave. And if you're being held at gunpoint, obviously most you should probably comply with them. Now, good strategy here as well, hide on the sides of the elevators and run through. Now with the scientists, you can also find a zone manager, but you start with the scientist card, and that scientist card can open up 049's chamber, and you can take the surgeon card inside and escape. So, I don't know. Better deal to be a scientist than a D-boy, if you ask me. Now, if you don't hear the MTF spawn, then be cautious. It could be chaos. We'll get into it in a sec, but scientists and like the facility guards and the MTF, they can't hear chaos coming. So chaos have the like the element of surprise when it comes to getting these guys. But if it's been like 5 minutes and you don't hear anything, then I would be really cautious, because there's probably a bunch of armed people coming to kill you. And if it's an MTF spawn, which we'll get into this as well, but MTF has announced the entire game, like everyone alive, then try to find them. SCPs can still find you, but try to find the MTF, they'll get you out. Facility guards. Now, they can be damaged by everything that the scientists can. They start off with guard cards, and they can get almost everywhere. Not everywhere in the facility, but they can get around. And they're at the start of the game. Your main goal should be getting to light, getting any scientist out, and saving D-boys while you're at it. I mean, personally, I save D-boys because it just goes towards the MTF winning. But hey, you do you. These are just my strategies. I didn't say that. I wanted to. These are just my strategies. I suggest you develop your own. See what works for you. See what, I don't know, gives you the most dopamine. However you enjoy the game. This is just some general stuff and some stuff that you should probably be aware of when playing the game. Some good strategies to use if you're ever in a pickle. Now, this strategy that I'm about to tell you, you should 100% do. Forget what I just said. This strategy right here, you should 100% do all the time. And it is stick with your team. I mean it. Like, as you play the game, you'll probably find facility guards wandering off on their own and just dying to stuff. Because facility guards are weak on their own, but strong together. And that is something that most people don't do. They don't stick together. So, because the SCPs are going to rush someone that is by themselves, but if you got a whole team supporting you, then you're fine. You're cruising. No one's gonna touch you. So, this is something you can do. You can find the scientist card in servers, and then open up SCP-096's chamber to get the surgery card inside of there, and then use that to get any scientist or D-boys out of the facility. If chaos spawn, you're going to die. Like, there's no way around it. You're massively outgunned, and unless the chaos all die to the SCPs, it's not looking good. And then if MTF spawns, just try grouping up with them. So finally, the MTF Epsilon 11 Nine-Tailed Fox, aka MTF, as I will be calling them, and the Chaos Insurgency. I've talked about them a couple times, but it's finally time to discuss them now. This part up here, what goes towards spawning each one. I'm not going to go into that because it's complicated. Essentially, like, it works on a point system. Long story short, it works on a point system, and each side will get more points depending how the game goes. If say a D-boy escapes on its own, that just means that chaos is going to spawn unless if scientists escape or something. But then there's also the point system, and there's a tug of war system. It's confusing. I'm not going through it. But essentially, generally, if more scientists and detained D-boys escape than detained scientists and D-boys, that generally means that MTF are going to spawn. So MTF, they're trying to kill the scientist, not kill, they're trying to rescue the scientists and kill any SCPs or chaos in the facility. That's how they win. Now there are 3 subclasses, and it goes in a hierarchy of private, sergeant, and then captain. Private being the worst, and captains being the best. And you could choose to kill or rescue D-boys. I suggest rescue, but that's just me. And they are announced to everyone. Talked about that. Main goal of the chaos is to rescue D-boys and kill any facility guard in MTF. And that's how they win. And also, they can choose to rescue scientists or kill them. Usually it's kill them, but I've seen some rare times where it's safe. And there are 3 different subclasses. It's not really a hierarchy, more as they spawn with different weapons. Like there's the repressor, which spawns with an AK. There's the marauder, which spawns with a shotgun and a revolver. And then there is the Did I say repressor? Oh wait, no. I got the subclasses wrong. The repressor is the powerful one. One of them spawns with the AK, the marauder spawns with the shotgun and the revolver, and then the repressor spawns with the most powerful gun in the game, the Logicer, and we'll talk about weapons later. Like a lot of other things. Now, with Chaos, it's interesting because they don't have to kill SCPs to win the game. So, you can work with them, or you can try to kill them. I mean, if you kill them, it will go towards an SCP, not an SCP, it will go towards a Chaos Insurgency win. So, you don't have to. They are not announced to everyone, but they are announced to the D-Boys and any alive Chaos with a song. So, facility guards. It can be frustrating sometimes playing as a facility guard, but don't just assume you can't do anything as a facility guard. Did I go backwards? I did. Why did I go backwards? Sorry. Sorry. Alright, MTF strategy. Okay. So, can be damaged, same thing as scientists and facility guards, same thing. What a person has access to in the facility depends on their rank, right? Privates don't have access to everything, where captains do. Like, I think the only thing that captains really get, other than sergeants, like above sergeants, is access to the micro HID. Off of the top of my head, I think that's it. So it's not like a huge gap, but being a sergeant or a captain is better than being a private. Because you can't open up the gates as a private. You need a sergeant or a captain card, which obviously the sergeant and the captain spawn with. So yeah. And like facility guards, one of the most important things to do is stick with your team. Like, I cannot reiterate that enough. The SCPs will rush single people. They'll rush maybe even small groups. Stick together with your team if you want to get SCPs killed. Like, no one does it sometimes, and it's really annoying. Because it's still really the only way you're going to get the SCPs killed is by sticking together. Now, if any scientists are left, or any D-Boys, you should try to save them. It could be hard with the SCPs but I mean, your main goal should be to save them. It goes towards the Foundation win. You can save D-Boys, and it will help you get an MTF win. So, it's not the best idea to kill them in sight. In lore, for this game, they are given the order to kill on sight. But that doesn't mean you have to kill them on sight. I just want to reiterate that. Chaos. Now, Chaos. You are, if you spawn in as Chaos, the game is probably going to end soon, and like, you are just a liberating, powerful group, because Chaos spawn with these really powerful guns, which we'll talk about the guns later, but they are really powerful. And you also spawn with a card that allows you to get anywhere in the facility. So now your main goal is to rescue any D-Boys, possibly scientists if you want, if they don't get shot by other Chaos. And you can team with the SCPs, but it will go towards a Chaos win if you decide to attack and kill the SCPs. So, I don't know. Let your peers be the judge, I guess. I don't know. Most Chaos attack the SCPs because they're angry that they died to them earlier, so I don't know. If you want to kill him, be my guest. Have fun. And to win, you need to kill all facility guards, all MTF, save all D-boys, you know, do whatever to scientists. If MTF spawn, you should probably work with the SCPs. That's just, I mean, I would think you would want to work with the SCPs if the MTF spawn, but that's just me. I don't know. Killing is more easier because of the more powerful guns, and saving scientists will go towards chaos, or it will help getting a chaos one. So I would save them personally. Now we're on the big bad boys, the Mad Six, the Bad Six. I don't know where I'm going with this. The SCPs. Almost all the SCPs can be killed by just shooting them. Very self-explanatory, except for a computer. We talked about that with the gens. All 3 gens are turned on, then it dies, or if the facility gets nuked, it dies. Obviously, can't exactly leave the facility because it only operates through the cameras. Now, main goal of the SCPs: kill any human alive except for Chaos. Like, they don't have to kill Chaos. They could be friendly. Doesn't matter. Depends on the situation. I mean, usually Chaos starts shooting first before the SCPs start attacking, from personal experience. So, I don't know. Now, this is gonna be an hour long. Jesus, this is already a half hour. SCP-096 can toggle rage when any humans looks at its face. Click the slash, and then you can charge forward, and with that charge, you can open up doors. And you can also break doors just by clicking and stuff. Now, computer operates through the cameras. You can change cameras with WASD and get a full map of the facility with tab, and you can move around the cameras that way. Now you level up more as you help the SCPs. You know, you can black out rooms at level 2. You can lock down at level 3. You can scan zones at level 4, and at 5 you can turn on nuke. Now, they can be very powerful. I mean that if you can get a good computer, then your game is set. Like, very, very powerful. Now, and then SCP-049. I'll talk about SCP-049 first before I talk about the zombies. Clicking on enemies will rapidly kill them with cardiac arrest. It can only be stopped with well-timed med kits. At least 2, at most 3. An adrenaline shot, which stops it immediately, and an SCP-500 will get to that. Chase down an enemy with F. It's a single enemy you'll chase down. You can revive dead enemies that were killed recently with E, and you can revive dead zombies at any time with E as well. And then increase the shield of nearby zombies with R. Zombies, when you get turned into a zombie, you attack by clicking. You can eat bodies to regenerate health with E and get faster when chasing people. That's, if you see like a little eye icon in the middle bottom, that's you getting faster. Now, strategies. What slide are we on? We're halfway through. Maybe it's probably a little bit more than an hour long. Anyways, escaping / killing. If you're by yourself, it can be tricky. If you're with other people, hope that they that 049 chases someone else and not you. If you have a gun, shooting at 049 is a good way to make them back off. And if you're attacked with cardiac arrest, just try. I mean, if you're with other people, say you're part of an MTF spawn wave, you get attacked, ask around for a med kit so you don't die. Zombies can be hard to escape, but they're also weak, so shooting at them is effective. Now, playing. It's good to stick with SCPs except for 106, because 106 has a pocket dimension, can't get bodies that way. But it's a good way, you want to stick with other SCPs, so you can get kills easily, get zombies easily. Getting to light should be the first priority. That's essentially like copy pasted for like all of them. So I'm gonna say that now. All SCPs should go to light at the start of the game. Unless if you see some facility guards, you want to chase them. If some facility guards trying to make their way to light, unless if you see that, then chase them. Be my guest. But your main goal should be get to light. Obviously, chasing a single target is easier. When MTF or Chaos spawn, be careful. 049 is weak on their own and can get shredded pretty easily. Not as easy as 173. We'll get to that though. If you're a zombie, please help Doctor. Like, don't just run off and kill yourself. It's annoying. Actually play as a zombie. Like, I don't know. It's not that bad being a zombie. And watch out for zombies. Well, watch out for getting shot. So with 079, it takes a lot to be good at it, but why am I starting off with the playing section? We gotta start off with the escaping / killing. So if computer wants you dead, and if computer is following you, like shutting doors on you, locking doors on you, there's not a lot you can do. Really. You can't really escape it at all. But then again, computer can't necessarily indirectly hurt you. They can only send SCPs to go kill you. And then if you turn on a generator trying to kill it, it will notify them. So probably not best to stay around there unless if you're MTF or Chaos and you're trying to kill computer. Then stand your ground and kill any SCPs that try to shut it down. Now, hiding in locked rooms will not work because computer can just open doors. You find, like as we were talking about with the map earlier, some doors require containment level 2 or stuff like that, armory level 1. Not all the SCPs can open that up, like open up every door. Like 914 can't be opened by all SCPs. Candy Room can't be opened by all SCPs. I say that over here. So not the best idea to hide there because computer can just open up the doors, let any SCPs in. And also verbally taunting is pretty fun. I can say I've verbally taunted 079 many times. Very fun. Now playing takes a lot to be good. To start the game, help the other SCPs find their way to light. And when it comes to helping the SCPs more, locking rooms and blacking out rooms and stuff like that is extremely helpful for killing humans. And also get you XP and level you up, so that's what you want to do. You should also check rooms like 914, armories, SCP-330, any other locked rooms, anything that the SCPs can't get in normally, see if anyone's hiding in there, then send an SCP over. I didn't say this, but all SCPs can talk to each other. They have a little voice chat all to themselves, and they can talk to each other. So they can strategize with each other. And that's something very important to playing 079, is strategizing with the other SCPs and helping them get the kills to win the game. Now, as you level up, you'll be able to see like more detailed statistics on who's left. All SCPs can see who's left, but as you level up, you specifically can see what's left, and you can see if, say, a chaos wave spawns, you can see that specifically like 15 chaos insurgency members coming in, something like that. It can be helpful. Now, Shy Guy escaping. If you look at Shy Guy's face, good luck. If you don't have an elevator that you can go into, then you're most likely going to die. Now, if you hear his crying, and you'll hear his crying eventually in the game, you'll get accustomed to it. Look down, because it is the safest direction to look. When it comes to 096, you can look other directions, but looking down is the safest. Going through elevators is the safest way to escape him, like going up or down elevators, because he doesn't stay enraged forever, so eventually his rage will run off and then you can just walk away. If you're in a large group of people, hope he doesn't go for you first. I've had a couple of situations where he's chased the other person and I've survived from looking at his face. So just have luck, and if you're in a large group with guns, shoot him. If you know you're gonna die, shoot him. But also shooting him when his rage is good and gone is a good way of doing a lot of damage as well. And they should be the main priority of any MTF or chaos if they attack chaos. So, playing. You can really with 096 you can be by yourself, but 096 and 173 is a very deadly combo that if you have a 173 and an 096 in your game, they're most likely going to be together because it is a very good combo. Now you can hide behind doors using right click. I didn't talk about that before. Oops. Anyways, you can hide behind doors. Essentially, that will soften your crying, and it can trick people into looking at you so you can kill them. And like a good thing to do is, like, say an MTF wave is coming or something. You can hide behind a door that you'll know they'll have to go by, and they'll just walk by, they'll be oblivious of you, and they'll look at your face, and then you have a bunch of free kills. Now, with the charge, I talked about this before when talking about 096, you can open up gates, so you can open up the exit gates, and 914 is a gate, but you can get stuck on the other side if you run out of rage while on that side of the gate, so be wary of that. Now, taking on the entire MTF or Chaos spawn wave on surface is not the best idea. I know from personal experience. So, your best bet is to take on like smaller groups, unless if you have the other SCPs helping you. Then take on the entire spawn wave. Be my guest. If you guys think you could take it, it's a good idea, then go right ahead. I'm not stopping you. Like I said, this is all just what I do. It's what I suggest from my like 200 hours of playing the game. So, I mean, if you want to think I'm good at the game and am actually helping, be my guest. Be my guest at following these strategies, but you don't have to. It's my main. Alright, so we got Larry. Clicking on enemies will send them to your pocket dimension with the random chance of them escaping. Walk through doors and gates. That's important to know, because that essentially means you're not safe while locked in a room, and Larry can just walk through. Larry can get into anywhere in the facility, so be wary of that. They can sink into the ground to escape situations and regain shield. And you can teleport around the facility with tab. Now, Peanut, snap next by clicking, and if someone's looking at him, then they can blink forward every 3 seconds. And then if you blink on top of someone, you will snap their neck. Now, they can zoom around at breakneck speeds with shift. You essentially just go really fast, and then put a pool of filth on the ground with F. And if any human walks through it, it'll slow them down. It'll make a loud noise. Dog is the newest changed SCP in this game. So there's a bunch of new stuff to him. So we got the clicking claws enemies. That's always been there. But humans are visible unless they make noise. This is new though. They can crouch on the ground with C, which reveals the surroundings, and then lunge at enemies with a click. We'll get to strategies with that, because that can insta-kill humans. They can release an amnestic cloud with F, making it invisible to all humans, and inside the amnestic cloud, you can also steal voices of people that they kill. Not the most helpful from personal experience, but you can. So, Larry. Running away is not very effective, I can say, from personal experience. Because they can just... You can't, like, close doors in front of them. Because they can just walk through the doors, so it doesn't even matter. And if they disappear while chasing you, they could be teleporting, like, in front of you, trying to kill you or zooming around. So be cautious of that. Shooting in a group can be very effective. Shooting by yourself isn't really. If you get sent to the pocket dimension, there's no way to predict which hallway to go down, unless if you see someone else escape the same way. Then go down that hallway, get out. Now, you might see this trick where people throw a card into the air and go where it points, and they think, "Ooh, this is how you escape Larry's pocket dimension. It works all the time." It doesn't work. And if you do this, you will look very silly. And I, personally, I will find a video of you doing it, and I will laugh at you. Because you look so silly doing it. If you escape, you'll be in the same zone as Larry. You'll probably hear him, like, walking around. Just be cautious. Now, playing. Larry can be effective on their own, but also effective with other SCPs. And they have access to anything in the facility. They can go anywhere. So, yeah, that helps. Tricking enemies with teleporting and zooming through the ground is helpful. So essentially, you can teleport in front of enemies and then get them into your pocket dimension. You can zoom through the ground behind them to regain shield and to also try to kill them. And to somewhat confirm that the person in your pocket dimension died, because you don't get like a visual confirmation, you can just look at the player count, like the player's left, which is always viewable by all SCPs in the top right. But you can just look at that. If the number goes down, then hey, it might be your kill. Might have been a D-boy dying in some other part of the facility, but it could have been your kill. So, and then of course, if they escape, be wary. They're somewhere near. Alright, so SCP-173, aka Peanut. Running away can be hard, considering the fact that not looking at Peanut means it's getting closer to you. So, if you hear them screeching across the ground, like in some other part of the facility, probably not best to go that way. Having a flashlight can help if a computer decides to black out a room while you're being chased. Essentially, you'll be locked in the room will be black, and if you don't have a flashlight, Peanut just has full reign to just go about trying to snap your neck. So having a flashlight can help. Now, running through the pool of filth, probably not the best idea. You can crouch through it though, and you won't get the slowness and make a loud noise after. Now, if you spawn as MTF or Chaos, find Peanut, kill Peanut. MTF and Chaos shred Peanut. Like, I put it over here. On the playing side. Run to other SCPs, because Peanut literally gets shredded by MTF or Chaos. Like, it's an easy dub if you're MTF or Chaos and you find Peanut all alone. Let's see. After a couple of seconds, your containment chamber will open. It doesn't open automatically, but you spawn in the prime area for getting easy kills, because you don't really have humans that can shoot you. Creating a pool of filth with F in important places can be good. Going around at breakneck speeds helps find people. And then, of course, SCP in 096. I mean, you have an SCP that needs to be looked at and an SCP that shouldn't be looked at together. It's a good combo. Now, SCP-939. Escaping or killing. Biggest thing to do when you hear the footsteps is to crouch with C. If you run, walk, talk, or jump, you will alert dog of where you are. And that is not good, because dog is very powerful. Be careful when opening doors, because 939 can be crouched behind the door. and then pounce. And if you, same thing if you're MTF or Chaos and you're giving chase to them, and then there's a closed door, just be wary that 939 is probably gonna pounce out from behind it. So now, good way to know if you're in the amnestics cloud is if you can't reload or heal, because you can't do that while in the amnestics cloud. And remember, you can also not see 939. Like, so if you're getting attacked by nothing, you're in the amnestics cloud and 939 is killing you. If you're being chased, give them some funny words before you die. I put over here, stolen voices don't help that much because they don't. It's usually like incoherent stuff, just random screaming, stuff like that. It's not helpful that much. But good strat, place your amnestics cloud and then crouch behind a door with C. That's a good strat if you know a bunch of people are coming up. Say I put teaming with another zombie or not another SCP can make sure you don't miss anyone. If you have a zombie that wants to play the game and have fun, just have like a zombie follow you. Make sure you don't miss anything. I mean, also checking corners if you don't have anyone. Like running into the enemy will reveal them to you. So if you run into them, if you check like every corner, there's, you know, if someone's hiding there, you run into them, you're gonna find them and kill them. Alright, so now we're on the SCP items. The items that you can find in-game and use them as a human. Now, with the exception of 330 and 914, they can be found right around light and heavy and require a card that has both containment 2 and checkpoint. Of course, cards, talk about that later. Let's get into the SCPs. So, 018, when thrown, it will accelerate at high speeds, greatly damaging anything it touches. It can be very deadly towards SCPs and humans. Talk about also strategies for all these items I'll talk about later. So, cola. When drunk, the drinker will have infinite stamina. You'll run a little faster, but you will start to lose health. Your health will drain, and it can stack. Like, all the effects will stack, so you will become a little bit faster, but you will take a little bit more damage. So 244, aka the pot. When opened, it will release a cloud of cold air that will damage anything inside of it. Is pretty funny to put in Larry's pocket dimension. I know from personal experience. And then 268, the hat. It'll make you invisible to any other humans SCPs, but of course does not work on 939 because 939 doesn't see. So, and then if you look at Shy Guy's face while you're invisible, you'll still activate him, and if you look at Peanut, you will stop him. Now, 330, SCP-330, up to 2 pieces of candy can be taken, and if you take more, you know, your hands get cut off. Of course, it says it right there on the bowl. And the candies will do different stuff, so just red and green will heal you, yellow will give you infinite stamina for a limited amount of time, purple, resistance, rainbow gives you a little bit of all except for pink, and then pink isn't normally accessible. Sometimes it is during Christmas events and stuff like that. If you can get pink, explode something, because pink makes you explode. It's very funny, and I don't know, explode, it's something with it. If you get pink, you're not living, but you're gonna die in a valiant way. So, let's start with the Panacea SCP-500. When it's eaten, gives full heal and regeneration for up to 10 seconds. It can cancel many negative effects like cardiac arrest, bleeding, poison. It can also get rid of 207 and then 1853, which is this top right one. We'll get to that one. Let's keep in order. Sequential order. So we'll go to Spirit Box next. 1576, when activated, it will allow you to talk to spectator chat. Essentially anyone who's dead you can talk to. It's sometimes helpful, sometimes not. It depends on who you're playing with. Next up, Combat Serum. I don't think that's its official nickname, but that's my nickname for it, so hey, Combat Serum. When applied, it'll improve your gun skills, like you have less weapon recoil, you reload faster, you know, you're faster at pulling out your gun, stuff like that. And multiple versions of it can be taken, and the effect does stack, and it gets halved each time. And if you take it while under the effect of 207, aka the cola from the previous one, if you take both of them, you will die of poison very quickly, unless if you have the panacea to stop that. Ghost Light, top left. SCP-2176. When thrown, it will burst on the ground and essentially lock down the room that it's thrown in, so you can throw it into another room, locking that room down. And if computer's in that room, you'll stun it. So that's pretty nice. You can stun it for 8 seconds. It'll be drained of all of its power, so that's good. Strategies. I'm just gonna like blaze through these because this video is already probably long enough. Ball. Use it against SCPs. You can use it against humans. But I would prefer. It's probably best to use it against SCPs. Cola. If you can find it, Cola is way better than Combat Serum. I'm just saying this right now. I prefer Cola because having the ability to run away from enemies is better than having the ability to shoot at them better. So, also be wary with Cola. Your damage can pile up. Pot. Put it in important areas to deter people from going through them, or you know, people can't see through it as well. Like the cloud that it creates, you can't see through it. So, if you want to create like a little shooting area, and also, of course, it's fun to put in the pocket dimension. Now, the hat. It can get you out of some real bad situations. Just be wary of the SCPs it can still affect. Candies. Use them at the right time. Use blue candy immediately as you get it, because there's no reason not to. It just gives you 30 shield. That's it. Unless if you're full on shield, then don't take it. But assuming you're not, just take it as soon as you get it, and then use the others when needed. Like if you're low on health, use red or green to heal you. If you're running from something, use yellow. Like stuff like that. SCP-500. It can be a lifesaver in a life-threatening situation. I would save it for if you run into doctor. If you're close to death, really, that's it. Spirit Box 1576. Maybe you'll find someone who's helpful. Maybe not. Who knows? Just hope that the people are helpful. Combat Serum. Personally, if you find Cola, I would take Cola over Combat Serum. As I said before, but finding it isn't bad. If you're an MTF or a Chaos and you find it, you know, it's not bad taking it. It can be pretty nice. And then Ghost Light. Use it against computer or lock other things in other rooms. These are the holiday exclusives. Now, Cake. When you blow out the candles, you essentially become a child, making you faster at using guns and stuff like that, making you more faster, more stamina. But it works in tandem with the Piñata. Piñata is not a player-controlled character, it's an AI-controlled character, and if you get near it while holding candy or being a child, then you will focus onto it and it will start to come towards you. And if it gets to you, you can't look away, by the way. But if it gets to you and you don't break line of sight somehow, you will die. It will kill you and you will explode into candy. And these two are only available during the anniversary events. And then Christmas Tree. when it spawns, it has 5 openable presents. They can have a variety of stuff. Like you can get card upgrades, special weapons, SCPs, stuff like that. It will spawn for every human role except for Chaos. And it has a tendency to spawn near people who need it the most. AKA, if you're the last D-boy alive, it's gonna spawn near you. And then, obviously, it's only available during the Christmas event. And if I didn't make a strategies page for these, but if I had to, personally, I prefer the cake. I like the cake. You might not agree with me. I don't know. I like the cake. I would take it. Just be wary of the piñata. That's it. Just watch out for the piñata. And then for the tree, get lucky, I guess. SCP-914, we've talked about this bad boy a little bit. Essentially, you can upgrade or downgrade items in it. And there's a chart on the right. I'm not going to go through every single chart to upgrade. Like, if you're curious, I suggest checking the official wiki, the 914 upgrade charts, because there's a lot that it can upgrade into. Like, you can upgrade certain weapons into other stuff, and I talk about certain weapons getting upgraded, but not all of them. Like, there's a lot when it comes to 914. But in general, you know, you have your settings over here. In general, you'll be using fine to upgrade stuff. I wouldn't use very fine to upgrade stuff. I would just generally go with fine. I don't suggest going to it at the start of the game. This is where opinions might differ, but I do not suggest going to it at the start of the game, because all the SCPs know that there are going to be people in 914, so their first stop in light is going to be 914. Unless if you're a scientist and you spawn near it, or I guess you're a D-boy, you find a card and you're near it, then I would upgrade. But if you've been running around for a while and you find 914, you don't have the best shots of living if you go into it. And once the SCPs start to leave, I would try to use it. Now, cards. This is the moment everybody's been waiting for, the cards. I'm sure of it. So, this is every single tier that a card can have. Some cards have different tiers. Not some cards. All cards have different tiers. Different stuff to what they have access to. And essentially, if you look at a card in your inventory, you will see this. It'll be set up like this, in this order. And this is just a handy little chart telling you what opens what. And then this is upgrading cards in 914. Don't let this be complicated. When in doubt, find it out. If as I said right here, just if you go to fine, you're eventually going to get an 05 card. But that being said, a really good strategy that you might see people do is if you have a janitor card or scientist card, if you put it in on 1-to-1, you get a zone manager, and then you could just find that to a 05, and it's way faster than just finding one of these to an 05. That's a good strategy. But other than that, I wouldn't worry about everything else, especially the course. You don't want to be downgrading a card. At least I don't really have a I don't see a reason why you would want to downgrade a card, but I don't know. Weapons. I'm not gonna really go in depth. If you want to read, you can read. But just know, Com 15, Com 18, weakest guns in the game. And the SFP-9, these are what the facility guards spawn with. They're kind of good. But the crossvex, you get a bunch of guys with crossvex, it's over. like I just see Peanut getting destroyed in my mind when we got a bunch of people with crossvex. And the MTF E11SR is also a very versatile rifle. You can use it for a lot. Like, you can turn it into a sniper, you can have a more close range rifle, so whatever you want. So revolver, this thing, I suggest putting a scope on this thing. Other than that, it's not good. It has a slow but powerful fire rate, but put a scope on it, make it a sniper. It's 10 times better. We'll talk about weapon customization in the next slide, but I'm just saying. AK is pretty powerful. Shotgun, powerful. Close up, and then Logister, most powerful gun in the game. So holds 100 rounds, has a very high fire rate, and does a lot of damage. So, ammo types. These are what the ammo types look like in game. So if you see them on the ground and you're trying to pick them up. Ammo can also be rotated into other ammo through 914. I'm not gonna go into what, like how that rotation sort of works, because I don't know off the top of my head, and it's a little confusing. Like I said, if you're curious, go to the 914, go to the recipe charts on the official wiki. Flashbang, throw it. Obviously, it blinds people. And it works on the SCPs as well, except for computer. I don't know how it would work on computer. I don't know. And then grenades, 3.5 seconds later will explode. They can do a lot of damage and break down doors. I suggest using them against the SCPs, but you can do a little trolling and try to blow up humans as well. Workstations, you'll find these around the facility. You can modify your weapon. If you turn it on and you point your weapon at it, you can modify a bunch of the stuff. Here's a list of it, and what can be modified depends on the gun. And then magazines, these are going along with the modifications. You can change the magazines in certain guns. Like, you have AP mags, you have AP mags, FMJ mags, and JHP mags. AP mags are better at armored, FMJ is an all-rounder mag, and then JHP is for more unarmored opponents. So, which I never knew that distinction until I made this guide. It's pretty interesting, because I was wondering the difference, and I found out. Special weapons. COM-15, funniest gun in the game, with a fire rate of 60 bullets per second. Which is crazy, but you have crazy recoil. It's pretty good at killing humans, doing a lot of damage to the SCPs, and you can make it with a rare chance by putting a COM-15 on very fine with a 50% chance. COM-45. Now we get to the Jailbird. Jailbird is my favorite weapon. It's a stun baton. It's a melee weapon, and you can blind enemies with it by charging with the right click, and then letting go. You'll charge forward, and if you hit them, you'll blind them for 4 seconds. But you can also just swing with the left click, and eventually it will explode if used too much. Also, both of those can both be received in the Christmas tree, but the Jailbird can only be obtained in the Christmas tree. And on the micro, we talked about the micro earlier, very powerful, but it has a very slow wind up. It's found in heavy, and it can be made. I don't suggesting it though. I mean, there's a guaranteed one in heavy. It instantly kills humans and shreds SCPs. Like, it creates a loud sound. So, if any SCPs will hear, but if you're able to hit the SCPs with it, then you can do a lot of damage. It can be recharged in 914 on any setting or at a Tesla gate. And then we get to the particle disruptor. You probably won't see this much. Maybe an admin will spawn it in, or I don't know. Some mad lad made it in 914, because you can make it with a 40% chance with the micro HID, but normally the micro HID never makes it to light. It stays in heavy. But it's very powerful. It deals 200 damage, not to health, but to shield on direct hits, and it also has splash damage. So it will ignore the shields of the SCPs and just deal health. It can also blow up doors, it's that powerful. Now, go through this quickly, cause really it's sort of the same stuff. Or the armor's easy. 40% body protection. Obviously, light is the weakest armor. Heavy gives you the most armor. Obviously, medkits are the best for healing, giving the user 65 health. It removes some status effects. Adrenaline makes you speedy. You get infinite sprint for 8 seconds and 40 shield. And then painkillers can heal you over time. Coins are useless unless if you have a server that mods them, that has plugins, but I'm mainly doing the base game, so I'm only covering base game stuff. So normally the coin is useless. The radio is what all MTF spawn with. It allows you to talk with other MTF at long ranges, but you can change the range to be longer or shorter, but the longer it is, the more the battery on the radio will deplete. So there's that. Usually, normally the battery doesn't deplete unless if you like have it on the largest range for the entire game. Then that's a good way to deplete it. And then the flashlight is kind of useless when you have a flashlight on your gun, and it's also like surprisingly rare for some reason. Don't ask me why. It's just kind of useless. Like the only situation it'd be useful in is if you're a D-boy or scientist and you don't have a gun that has a flashlight. That's it. Oh, this is the final serious slide. Of course, and we end off with who wins. These are the win conditions. Depends on who's left. And who escapes. So, just say for example, if it's only the MTF and the scientists left, if the number of scientists that escaped is higher than the number of D-boys that escaped, then it's a Foundation victory. But the number of D-boys that escaped is higher than the number of scientists that escaped, then it's a stalemate. That's essentially what that means. And then if you're curious, you can read the rest of the chart. And so yeah, that was the slideshow. You just sat through a 1-hour video. For some reason, weirdo. So this all started because of this really bad map that I made for a friend. It's this map we're looking at, and I made it as a joke, just trying to introduce them to the game. And I was like, man, I can do better than this. So I started to make an actual map, and that actual map ended up becoming the guide that you are watching right now. And I hope at the very least it made you aware of some of the stuff that's in the game. Maybe even made you better at it. I just said that word for word. I'm such a loser. Wow. Anyways, thank you for sitting through this 1-hour video of mine and going through the slideshow. It was genuinely a lot of fun to make this thing. Like, I spent a lot of time making it, and I enjoyed it too. So, of course, if you need to get in contact with me, this is this YouTube video, so you can just comment down below. But there are also my ways to other ways to reach me. And then my sources, of course, because I've been taught my entire life that I should source my sources. Of course, the actual game, and then this is the official wiki, and then this is the fan wiki. And so with that, you just sat through a 1-hour video of me talking about this game that I really enjoy. Thank you so much for sitting through all of this. It means a lot. The music that I'm using, I don't know what I'm going to use yet, but it will probably be in the description if I had to guess. And with all that, I've been your host. Probably. I think so. I'll see you.